We are so excited to be rolling out our wine of the month for February. This month we have a really cool Portuguese wine called Falcão. Falcão is actually the Portuguese word for hawk. Pretty appropriate, right? And this wine is coming from the Alentejo region of Portugal, which is sort of in the southeastern side of the country. And this is a region that is mostly famous for making cork trees and cork production. So most of the corks in the world are coming out of that part of Portugal, which kind of gives you an idea of what the climate's like. It's really arid and really warm, and the kinds of wines that come out of there are really incredible. Very luscious and rich and bold from all of that heat. You know, people think about Portugal and they think automatically about port, and that is a very famous wine for the region, but there's actually some really incredible dry wines. And I always think that people who really love big, bold, New World style wines will usually gravitate towards these Portuguese wines as well. So this wine is made up from a few really different grapes, mostly ones you've probably never heard of. The predominant one is Aragonés, which is actually the exact same grape as Tempranillo. The thing that's funny about that grape is it has a different name depending on which region you're in both Portugal and Spain. So they try to confuse you a lot with that. The other grape that's in this is a grape that's called Alicante Bouschet. And this grape is really a trip because it, unlike most grapes that have dark skins and clear juice inside, Alicante Bouschet actually has dark juice inside, or dark flesh. And so you get a lot of pigment that comes into the wine as well. There's also a little bit of Trincadeira and Cabernet Sauvignon. Not a whole lot, but you might find a little bit of that structure from the Cabernet in this wine as well. And this wine is just so delicious. It has these really wonderful dried fruit flavors, very rich, very concentrated, very juicy. It's almost like this fruit leather flavor. There's real intensity to it, some smokiness. This is like a great, almost like a great wine to go with barbecue, but also it's got a lot of richness to it. So this is the perfect one to pull out for your big Sunday roast or any other kind of meat dish like that, or frankly just by itself. It's really quite yummy. So like I said, the predominant grape in this is the same grape as Tempranillo, just with a different name. We also have our Tempranillo. This is something that we have all the time. And this Tempranillo is coming from Spain. Probably the most significant place for Tempranillo in Spain is in the Rioja region, which is where this comes from. And this is in the north, so a little bit cooler, actually quite a bit cooler than from where our Falcão is coming from. And this is 100% Tempranillo. And that's also pretty darn yummy. But that cooler climate gives it a little bit more acidity. So it's got more of that kind of fresh, crunchy black fruit as opposed to the real stewed or dried fruit that you get in the Falcão. This also has that real classic Rioja flavor. It's a little bit dusty and more like red plum as opposed to the real black fruit that you're getting off of the other wine as well. This is a wine that also is traditionally aged with American oak, and you can taste it in this wine. There's some really wonderful sweet vanilla flavors that come through with it, which is a really nice foil to that sort of dusty plum flavor that's typical for Tempranillo. So the last wine that we have here, it does and doesn't fit in this lineup because this is not a wine from Portugal or Spain. This is our Nightjar. This is an American wine, but it's made in the style of the wines of Portugal or of port specifically. This is using the grapes that you find, like Touriga Nacional being one of them, also Aragonés, which is what you find in this wine. But instead, in the case of this wine, we're fortifying it. We're making it sweet, again, like port. And it's just really yummy. And I like any excuse there is to drink a little bit of Nightjar. It really is the perfect way to finish up a flight of wines like this. Cheers.